we're going to get started with the town hall. I just want to say hello and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, to the September town hall for Nyan Heroes. My name is Marlon Jovez. I'm the community manager, also known as MJov if you've seen me in the Discord or in-game as Nyan Heroes-MJJ. So I'd like to introduce our two guests today, both of them producers. Nathan.
Oh, hello, and thanks for having me. My name is Nathan. I've worn quite a few hats, just as all of us have here. I started working with external parties and am now a producer for Nyan Heroes. My claim to fame is that even in a fully remote studio, I get coffee for senior leadership, and uncannily then recognize that I cannot deliver it to them, so I end up drinking it all instead.
That's awesome. And Purva.
Hi everyone, I'm Purva. I'm a senior producer at Nyan Heroes, and I'm mostly responsible for art department because I started off in the games industry as an artist myself. Used to be a 3D artist doing backgrounds and props and assets for the environments in the game. Even did some characters back then, but that was not my forte. So then, gradually moved into production, and I've been a producer for over 6 years now. Been at Nyan Heroes for over a year and absolutely enjoying being here. And great to be here with you all today.
Thank you so much, Purva. And you might have seen Purva in our first Dev Shorts video. I did a short little one-on-one interview that went on our Instagram and YouTube Reels, or YouTube Shorts. So definitely go check that out. Check out some of our content. We have some fun video stuff and a lot of future video stuff coming down the pipeline. Speaking of video stuff, I do want to talk about what's going on with the format with this. Today we're going to be talking about mainly focusing on, first of all, what's happened in the past quarter for Nyan Heroes. So things like the Razor collab, some charity updates. I just wanted to quickly address the closing of expeditions. Nathan here will speak about the recent playtest and upcoming playtest stuff. And Purva will be talking about the new art direction that we've been working toward. So that's generally what it wants to be. And when I talk about the video stuff, I also wanted to talk about a new platform that we're working on. We've joined TikTok. So joining in on the hype. You can check us out at Nyan Heroes Game. So at Nyan Heroes Game, all one word on TikTok. Go ahead and drop a follow. It's very young, but we're going to be posting a lot of stuff, a lot of different stuff. It's going to be fun, very memey. There's going to be a lot of me in there. But we're going to have fun with it versus the other platforms, which I know are a little bit more professional, a little bit more news type beats, announcements for the community. We're going to have fun over there. Great. So I'm going to jump into the focus topics. Hope you guys are ready for it. The first of them being the Razor collaboration. Thanks for dropping the link, Greeny. I appreciate it. So with the Razor collaboration, at the beginning of August, we announced our collaboration with Razor through their Z Ventures Web3 incubator. This was very exciting news for us. It's very great. The collaboration with Razor marks a big milestone for the game. Through our mutual support with Razor, we can reach more players and create better gaming experiences for our players and community. We've already seen that a little bit on the social support side. We work along them to make sure that they can help boost our messaging and help us reach more of the Razor community, bring them into the Nyan Heroes community. And the same thing when Razor has big stuff, we hope that we're able to boost their news and bring our community to them. It's exciting, the possibilities that can happen with this collaboration. A lot of talks about the opportunities, just being able to have our foot in the door and be able to start that conversation with what we can do in the future. It's very helpful. So very excited, new collaboration with Razor, and a big feature to come with them. The next thing coming in, a little bit of a charity update. So as you all know, a core part of our mission in building this game is to make a difference by saving real cats. we've already made substantial donations to charitable organizations, including a majority to the Best Friends Animal Society. And as you know, the Best Friends Animal Society, they work not just with cats, but with several animals in general, and working with shelters, trying to improve shelters across the world. The Best Friends Animal Society is very committed to supporting and converting shelters into no-kill shelters, so that, you know, we try to increase the quality of life of animals that are in shelters rather than just house and remove. It's very tragic. So we want to support that, and we want to make sure that we're saving cats all around the world, saving animals all around the world with our work with the Best Friends Animal Society. So we've actually been working alongside Best Friends Animal Society for an upcoming promotion at the end of October with their charity streamers. And so this will have some of the charity streamers that already do charity work with the Best Friends Animal Society possibly playing our game, or at least talking about how we work our game in with the charitable aspect. So look forward to that at the end of October. That'll be October 30th that we're doing some streamer stuff with the Best Friends Animal Society. Also, we've been discussing how we can create a way to involve players in the charity just by playing the game. I know this has been a big thing. A lot of people have been discussing where has the charity aspect been working toward, and how is the community going to get involved in it all, other than just straight up donating on their own and us trying to promote charities. Now, we're committed to creating an experience that's still very fun and involves actual gameplay to it. So we've already begun work on some game features that can give players the opportunity to save cats in real life by saving cats in-game. So, very exciting. I know we've already seen a little bit of iterations of it on our end in the internal discussions. I promise you'll be able to see it soon enough, as soon as it's in a little bit more of a presentable state. But more details to come about how that works as we get to our next playtest session. The last thing that I have to say before I jump into our next focus topic, I just wanted to address the closing of the expeditions. We really want to thank everybody who has participated in the expedition program, and everybody who quickly unstaked just before the expedition ended. I mean, it was a massive program. We think it was great to see everybody who participated in this. The expedition program page will stay up so that you can continue to connect your wallet and see your catnip balance. If you had any issues with your contracts, let us know. I know we had a couple of people messaging in this support tickets. Please feel free to submit a support ticket. I think we've solved just about everybody's at this point. And if not, then ping us again in your support ticket, and we will try to find a way to make sure everything is just right. But as far as we've seen, we believe every participant's catnip has been accurately allocated. But yes, thank you guys so much for the expedition program. There's we're hoping to eventually get into what the future of the expedition program will be. But this isn't the end for it. Alrighty, so look forward to updates in the expedition program coming up ahead. Great. So that was my section of it. I would like to pass the mic over to Nathan to talk a bit about playtesting. And actually, before we jump into that, this actually the TikTok link that's in the chat is actually Nyan Heroes game, not Nyan Heroes. You could tell old branding versus new branding. So you follow the game one. We're actually trying to get the original Nyan Heroes one removed because that is not us. But yes, thank you for that, Still Greeny. All right, Nathan, if you would like to talk to us a little bit about playtesting.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. The Nyan Heroes project has made pretty significant jumps forward in the recent months. I mean, we've gone through different internal iterations of gameplay concept to a more solidified sense of what feels, fun, satisfying in a cat-focused world. There were a lot of ideas internally about look, feel, and gameplay foundation, so it's really rewarding to be at a point now where we're able to divert some of our team towards parallel systems that enrich the overall experience as opposed to just all hands on deck towards a singular and like general functionality. On top of that, we get to work with our community to refine that even further. And this is where some of the things I'm personally most excited about start to take shape, like experiencing more cat-focused gameplay, interactions. And I think one of my teammates said it best when they said it doesn't exist until they see it on screen. So the fact that we can venture forth in that direction is a huge lift overall. Most recently, we had a play test, as you mentioned, end of August, early September. In fact, a good number of all of the people here probably participated. So honestly, as far as closed play tests go, it was hugely heartening to see the volume of interest and feedback. So from me, genuinely, like, thank you. As a side note, we'd love to have every interested person play in our playtest. And I'm not sure if this has been covered before, so just to provide a bit of context as to one of the reasons why we have a selection process for our current playtest is because we're currently running with a lighter back-end server setup and because of optimizations that our team hasn't actually been able to implement yet. And generally, it doesn't make too much sense to devote what essentially is a very large percentage of our small team towards optimization until we have main sections of the game implemented, tested, locked down. And that having been said, there's a large volume of data that came out of this playtest, including feedback via Discord and connection with Marlon and community, that the team is still sifting through. So this really helps us to take into account more, we'll say, exotic gameplay scenarios and tighten up existing interactions with our gameplay system so the next iteration's even better. Speaking of which, if you're interested, we do have additional playtest opportunities scheduled to come up in early November of this year and early February of the next. We're trending towards having a decent amount of back-end refinement, more engaging systems on the horizon. So keep your ear out for when Marlon speaks, because I have a feeling that is where you will first hear about when the next improvements to Nyan Heroes are coming. And back to you, Marlon.
Thank you, Nathan. And I really do want to say, again, thank you to the community. It was so much fun playing with you guys, especially when we got to the daily play sessions for the playtest. And I already see Headless Undertaker typing, who was really a champion of the daily sessions. I see so many names in here that I got to interact with on a regular basis throughout the playtest, and I heard so much good feedback, a lot of stuff that people wanted to see change, a lot of stuff that people thought were imbalanced, and I want everybody to know that everything that went into the feedback channel, every little bit of information, every bug that was reported, we brought to our team. QA is addressing as much of it as possible, and our dev team is seeing the feedback. And we continue to push this feedback to them. So it is very much appreciated, everything that you had to say for these. On top of that, reiterating what Nathan said, yes, we do have additional playtest opportunities scheduled and coming up. So you did hear that correctly. Early November, we're coming with the next playtest. I know everybody was wondering, like, oh man, how long do we have to wait? And I think this is a slightly smaller gap in between playtests than last time, I want to say. But you should be able to see another iteration of the build, and that's very important to us that we're doing new iterations, building with new features each time at the beginning of November. So, if you haven't already signed up, if you didn't participate, please sign up. You could go to the website and you could go sign up at, I believe it's nyanheroes.com/playtest. Yes, nyanheroes.com/playtest. So please go sign up if you haven't already. Come join in. We're also trying to work on different ways to get people in so that more players are able to get in and get in easier. So thank you for that, Nathan. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you.
The next thing we're going to jump into, Purva here is going to talk to us a little bit about the new art style that we've been working on, the new art direction that we've been working on. So, Purva, if you'd like to take it away.
Thank you. I will speak to you all about the new art style, set some, give you some overview and what we are aiming for with this change that we are making with the art style. So the new art direction is more stylized as opposed to hyper-realistic. For those of you who've been, in touch for the past 2 years, you would have seen much more hyper-realistic last year, but we are completely moving away from that. It is leaning towards pseudo-realistic shapes and stylized materials, and we want the game to be warm and bright as opposed to dark and grim. So we don't want cyberpunk theme all over. And not to say that we will not have some levels that will be themed like that, but generally the mood, we're moving away from that. The focus is to create a world that is more fun and light-hearted as opposed to high-tech dystopian one. That definitely makes things a lot more interesting as well as challenging for us. But the main intention why we're making this change is mass appeal. We want the game to have that widespread appeal to all our audiences and players. It is a sci-fi, non-utopian world with opportunities for silly things like points of interest, objects of interest, to bring in that cat-themed humor. Cats are the core of everything that we're doing, and we are currently just exploring all avenues. Right, in terms of the art style, I would say it's not just the art visuals themselves. It's a balancing act. So even though the art direction will be championing the visuals for everything that you see on screen, but we need to balance it with design, which is level design and gameplay design, and also make sure that tech limitations are not broken while we try to do that. Examples being we want verticality, cats can climb, so the level should be designed in such a way of not just the level design side, but the art design side should be such that it is believable when we talk about verticality. We want the environments to have more cat-like movements like wall run and vault and other things that you've seen in the game so far. We want to create these memorable moments which remind us that yes, it is a cat-themed game and it has cat to its core. And readability is very important because it's a multiplayer game, and we'll have multiple players fighting in battles, and so we don't want you lose sight of where your team is or where the enemy is and where you are in the map. So we're working on that as well. And as I said, tech limitations, so we want the game to be as performant as possible. In the recent weeks, I would say we are trying to make the game a lot more playable on lower end graphic cards. We've not hit the mark where we want to be yet, but we are making the progress. So I would say all of this that we are doing on the visual side, like a complete shift from realistic to stylized, takes a lot of thought, a lot of trial and error, and a lot of iterations before we can look at the game like an artist standing in front of the painting, and you look back and see that, oh, this feels really good, and balanced from technical and design perspective. We're not there yet. If we're just scratching the surface. If there are 10 stages of completion, we're probably at stage 1 right now. But a lot of decisions regarding shape language, color language, layouts are far from final, but we're headed in the right direction. That's what we're happy about, that yeah, we're going in the right direction, and we'll continue to develop from there. It's an incremental process. And on top of that, art direction is also currently exploring overall aesthetics that brings emotional connection. So we want that the players should feel connected to why should I care for my cat or mech, and why should I, be invested in the game the way I am. And gameplay feasibility is important, like experimenting with organic shapes, collisions, because when you're it's all about you're not just running on the ground surfaces. There is always also walls and all. So we need to experiment a lot. We are working on internal guidelines that will help direct both the art team, which is concept team and technical art team and 3D art team, but also the design team. So there's a lot of collaboration happening on that front, and we are setting up metrics and guidelines which will then define how our visuals will look and how they will translate into 3D. And this also obviously has the Nyan technology at its core, because it is a very technologically advanced world, and we don't want things to be out of sync. But to conclude, I would say in the last few months, we've produced very promising set of environment concepts. Our focus had been environment so far, and the latest Inside Nikovia newsletter has some of these for you to see. And we're also starting to explore weapons in the coming months, and you will see some updates on that front. So yeah, all in all, we're feeling good about where we're headed, and we're excited to show more in the coming months. That's all for now. Marlon, over to you.
Thank you, Purva. That was great. I really appreciated that, and I wanted to touch on that. One of those last notes that you just brought in is the latest Inside Nikovia will have some of the art update stuff in there. As you know, we like to drop Inside Nikovia around the same time as Town Hall. You all can look forward to seeing this quarter's Inside Nikovia this Friday. So keep an eye out for that on our website and on the Medium blog. We'll definitely ping when it comes out. But there's some pretty cool artwork that's going into this Inside Nikovia. I hope you all appreciated how things looked in the game right now. And I do want to note that things are growing, things are building. It's like Purva was saying, how this is pretty much just the first step, the first stage of the new look of it all. Things will expand greatly and change greatly from where we're at. So thank you, Purva, once again. Great. Into the next section of this town hall, what I want to do is start addressing some questions from the community. So we're going to address the questions that were asked ahead of time. I believe that there weren't too many of them, so we will have plenty of time for Ask Me Anything things. One thing I do want to address, we'll jump a little bit ahead and backward. I saw a question about would the playtest, the upcoming playtest, be limited or open to all? Yes, it will be limited, and for who all will be getting access, we still have to evaluate what the requirements will be to actually run the game properly and in the best way. So as we approach there, we will let people know a little bit better how the minimum specifications are closer to the next playtest. But yes, it's primarily based off of PC specifications and whether or not you've participated in the past. And then we will address some more of the questions after, and just know that was an immediate thing that came up. So yes, we're going to jump into the questions from the community that I have here. I want to thank, I believe, all of these questions that we have right now. Kind of like how in our last playtest, Wooly Willy had the had the floor for a lot of our questions. I believe Evil Cat submitted all of our questions ahead of time this time. So let's jump in with the first question on here, which was, at what stage is the development of the game regarding the plans for the roadmap? There was a question about approximate percentage. I'm not sure if we're able to give a percentage of completion, but Nathan, would you like to answer this one?
Yeah, absolutely. No, thanks. And not to veer us wildly off course, but I just want to say that when I do come in the morning and I get to see whatever Purva's been working on, it's like your morning newspaper. Like I shamelessly am so excited about seeing what will happen with art style because it is shaping up really nicely. So, but anyway, the question was about the development of the game regarding the plans for the roadmap. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. That's a great question. Also a very difficult one. I'll start out by saying, I guess, reiterating what Marlon said. I don't really have a numerical percentage to give. But while we're still quite early in the development process, we're also past a pretty major, I'd say, milestone. So I guess the best example, let me put it like this. We're at the point where team members are finally Marlon, is Town Hall family oriented? No?
Yeah, for the most part, yes.
Okay. We are at the point where team members are finally starting to talk, to converse spiritedly with each other while playing an internal game session. Like,
I think
Nathan, come over here. Why? I have a surprise for you. What kind of surprise? Come over here and I'll show you. I mean, it's that kind of stuff. Like, that is a really, really good sign. There's so many pieces to a game that have to work in tandem to create something actually cohesive. Especially in a fully remote working environment, it can seem like forever before game systems that may often feel disparate in nature come together to form something that feels fun, right? The fact the team has shifted focus on playing a tongue-in-cheek prank instead of seeing only bugs is a really, really, really soft indicator that we might be ready to gather a party and venture forth beyond functional gameplay. We can now focus more on expanding the cat presence in Nyan Heroes. We can focus on player progression outside of just, like, I don't know, friendly ballistic exchanges. And we're now closer to the full core game loop. And that will be something that will need the community's help in testing and shaping. So I guess if that answers the question.
I think that mostly covers it. Yeah, we're truly getting somewhere with it. We have playable builds, which is really great. And that honestly, from now until launch, that there will be plenty of iterations. It may look very different over time, but we're at a very healthy stage of development where it's playable. So yeah, thank you for that, Nathan.
No worries. Definitely like healthy.
Yeah. The next question we have was, does the team have enough funding? How successful was the meeting at the last exhibition, and how many people are in the team at the moment? I want to find out exactly the developers, not referring to the directors and PR managers. I think, Purva, will you be able to answer this one?
I'll take that one. Yeah, I'll take that one. Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for the question. I don't know who asked this question, but I really appreciate it.
There's another one from Evil Cat, yeah.
Okay, right. Because you're showing really keen interest in the health of a studio, and as always, it's appreciated. It really serves as a great motivator. So first, a big thank you. Now, diving into the question, which is how successful the funding was or the meeting was, I would say both funding and meeting wise, we've hit the mark in both areas. Obviously, it's a new studio, so there are too many things to balance. As I think that's the core of everything that we're saying today. There's so much balancing act here. So to give you a bit more perspective, our funding efforts are basically directly linked to our release builds and our community traction. And so you can consider these two things: release builds and community attraction. And our conversations with the investors, which is, you can say, if you imagine this as a triangle, the investors as the tip of the triangle, are ongoing. These conversations are constantly ongoing. But so far, there's been some good interest in the quality of the game, the vision of the game, as well as the unique IP and identity opportunities that come with this game. That is based on our the GDC and the August Deathmatch releases that you guys have seen. As of now, I don't think I can share specific numbers. I can just tell you generally it's going pretty well. And where improved traction is important is where player engagement comes into play. So improved attraction and community engagement will help this effort when we present the metrics to our investors. So we are presenting a lot of data, which is the king, right? They need to see what's going on. So far, the responses and the conversations have been productive, I'd say, and especially relative to the current, challenging market, as we know, cryptocurrency. Our current runway is 6 months without any further investments, and the goal is to secure investment via venture capital funding or through a publishing deal before then. And that's where these releases are very, very important for us. But with the success we've had so far, we are working on systems, designs, and visual direction in parallel to releases that are the core foundations of the scope of the game, because just releases are a snapshot. There's a lot more for us to do as the development team. And a lot of work we're doing, you will start seeing into the future releases. Like you've seen in the August release, you'll see some in the October release, and so on and so forth. So yeah, please keep giving us feedback. That will really help us improve what we are doing. So that's all I have to say on the funding and the success of the meeting, or how things are going on investment side. As for the team size, excluding directors and PR managers and all, we have an incredible pool of talent. And we're strong at 49 plus. So we have one active engineering hiring role online or active right now, and that will bring us to 50 developers by the end of this year. So that's our target. We're not growing more than that unless something really crazy happens and we need more people. But we are going to stick to about 50 at the end of this year. And to give you a bit more information about how this 50 developers would break, how do we break it into different departments? We've got like 15 in our art team, and that's our art team for now. We've got 3 in audio team, 13 engineers, 8 designers, 5 production team members, and 5 in QA team now. So with that one additional engineer, we'll reach 14 engineers at the end of this year. So yeah, that's what we have in terms of numbers, and we'll keep growing our studio slowly and steadily. And we just want to make sure that we are adding to the plethora of experience and skills our team members bring in. You must have seen in one of our past, I think that was GDC, that was a presentation that was made, that we have about over 10 years of combined industry experience as a team, and we've shipped over 200 titles between all of us. So that's huge. We'll keep building upon that slowly but steadily in the coming years. Yeah, that's we don't want to expand too fast, I would say, is the crux of the hiring strategy for us. Yeah, that's all I have to say here.
Yeah, definitely not looking to burn it too heavily as we go. I know I have spoken to Adrian, who handles our hiring stuff, and we do still have some priority hires that we're looking for. So definitely check us out on LinkedIn, or check out the Nyan Heroes Careers website, and you'll see some roles that we're actually looking for some people to come join the team and help improve the game. So if you find yourself the type of person that wants to work with a globally remote team, if you have a lot of experience in the games industry, we're always glad to field more applications from quality people in the games industry. So yeah, check out what roles we still have. I believe we're still there's definitely a handful of roles, but I think of our highest priority stuff, it was a game engine engineer and a gameplay programmer, something along those lines. But yeah, check out our careers website. We have a large team already, or I guess medium in the scale of every kind of dev studio. Large for where we're at, and we continue to expand constantly. So definitely check us out. Thank you, Purva. Much appreciated. On to the next question. Once again, another Evil Cat question. Woohoo! Thank you, Evil Cat. Is it planned to do something with NFT cats and Guardian before the release of the game? The staking of cats is over, but it is still far from release. I would not like the NFT to lie dead weight and rust. Well, we don't want you to either. Actually, ahead of time, I did reach out to our very lovely Max Fu. Everybody loves Max Fu, and I know we miss him for Town Hall. Hopefully during the end of year Town Hall, I'll be able to bring him back for the end of year wrap up. Woohoo! But I did ask Naif and Max how they'd like to address this question. And here's what they had to say. Is that the NFTs for Cats and Guardians were always designed as a type of game passes that provided value to the early holders. So initially that came in the form of mech drop and staking rewards. But it'll also allow DAO participation and access to things like game design feedback and some early access type things. In the same way that some early access games on Steam give early buyers access to free and premium content later when the game is live, ours will also feature similar rewards and benefits. So by being a holder, you'd unlock at our game launch free premium items, free premium bundles, loot and skins, things of that kind. So eventually we may also integrate the NFTs into the game itself via custom pilots. And allow holders to use their NFTs as unique one-to-one pilot skins. So, as it stands now, it holds a premium in the community, but when we get to actual game launch, it'll give you the premium content in-game live. So, hopefully that generally answers the question. Moving forward, next question, how did the playtest go and how much benefit was gained? I think, Nathan, you already covered a bit of the playtest, if you'd like to cover this question again.
Yeah. All right. How did the playtest go? How much benefit was gained? All right.
Yeah.
The playtest, I'd say, was a big boost overall for the team with respect to both game development and overall team morale. Like, from a technical standpoint, we can have theories about how systems may interact with players, but nobody really knows until the community interacts with it, and then our systems hit this giant proverbial brick wall. Through your feedback, we're able to improve and reprioritize development efforts to improve the overall player experience. Like a perfect example of this is the advancement of matchmaking, hierarchies, and rules, and its importance to bringing players into larger games. Because after all, what good is a really, really good multiplayer game unless you have somebody to play it with, right? So, and on top of that, with every single use of teleport, recall, rocket barrage, healing, the design team can better understand the nuances of each and then advance each class even further. So honestly, a lot of us are basically big kids, or maybe just me, that do this job because we want to share something we're excited about with our friends. You're here at the town hall, so thank you for being interested. Thank you for taking the time to think about our humble project and for asking questions. It means a lot. To you, Marlon.
Thanks, Nathan. I think the next question is also kind of up the same alley. It's when approximately should we wait for the next game test? The next one specifically, we did mention, was beginning of November, but Nathan, if you had more to say?
Yeah, I mean, we're still defining the details around the next playtest opportunity. I believe there may be more opportunities to get involved towards the end of October of this year, which would then be for the early November, right?
Mm-hmm.
And January of next year, potentially. So a little preview. Marlon and the crew, they love our players, so I'm sure that they'll keep you in the loop as things solidify. The dev team loves to play with all of you, and looking at the game session stats. I don't know how everyone is so good, or maybe I'm just not. But I'm sure that I've got a lot of work to do to prepare for the challenge. So.
Awesome, thank you, Nathan. Yeah, no, honestly, we really do love playing with the community. Doing the daily play sessions was my favorite part of the playtest, really. And I think a few other members, if you saw Peter in the game, Nyan Heroes PGL, or NW, which was Niall, our intern on the QA side, we really had a lot of fun, and we kept coming back even when they didn't have to. The other guys were coming back. So, and Purva here also was joining on a few of those daily sessions. So, even though sometimes we're getting demolished by some of you really good players in there, or tag teaming with my buddy. Yeah, shout out to you, Bayesian. We were having fun regardless. So, looking forward to playing with you all again very soon. The last question we have from Evil Cat, and the last one that was submitted ahead of time. I would like to know about the spare parts that we picked up in the boxes on the map. Ah, cool. And that are already built into the NFT. Does their type matter on the gameplay, or is it just a visual difference? So that's actually a very good question. I had the same question, too, when I started seeing them in-game as well. So I also addressed this with our game design team. So those spare parts that you see, they were in the boxes for the recent build so we can test the visual attachments and give you all a chance to see how those parts may look in game. So they won't be picked up during the match in the future once we're ready to implement them in their actual form. So that's to say, we wanted to give you all an opportunity to see how these cosmetic changes would make your cat look different, even though that's not how it's going to be in the actual game. So it's important for us to make very clear that we're playtesting a game in development. So not everything you'll see will remain the same in the game. The primary game mode isn't even going to be team deathmatch like we saw in the last thing. The map will grow more, and a lot of features will be changed, added, and removed over time. So, please take what you see with a grain of salt, because we're building toward the game vision one iteration at a time, and a lot of changes with each iteration. But yes, so those spare parts were a way of kind of previewing how those pieces would look in game. We hope you kind of like the look of it. I know I hunted down trying to pick up as many of them as possible. It's fun just seeing the trail happen. But yes, thank you guys so much for that. So people believe that there are multiple good players. Yes, it's more than just you, Headless, because sometimes you're not in the game. But no, I'm sure as we expand the playtest group, and we are hoping to get a lot more players in. So please tell your friends to come sign up. Tell your communities, if you're in other Web3 communities or gaming communities, tell them to sign up. We're hoping that we'll be able to distribute access a little bit simpler than we have in the past couple playtests. But even if not, we still want to bring in, a lot more players for this upcoming one. I believe we've been working on some features that I think will be kind of a fun change to see. And I'd like to get the opinions of as many people as possible, if it truly is as fun as I think it is, or if I'm just biased because I enjoy the game and I like cats.
Who doesn't love cats?
Yeah, who doesn't love a little bit of cats? Cool. So we still have a few minutes left before we hit time here. I'd like to answer some of the questions that we had in the chat from the community. I think Purva and Nathan, you guys are awesome. I see you've been answering a lot of the questions as we went in the chat already. So let me see if I can find one that hasn't been answered. Let's see. What about lands? You already talked about them. Sorry. We didn't talk about lands just during this town hall, Kapash, but it is still in consideration. It's not going to be implemented anytime soon if it does, but we're still, it's in our minds right now how we might be able to do that. I'll definitely look into more about what lands are, what the plans are, and if lands are a part of it. And we'll try to update the community in the coming weeks. Will this premium content be linked to an account or stored as its own NFT, other NFT standard? Are we thinking airdrops to wallets to accounts or directly linked to accounts? I'm assuming you're talking about the premium content that you get from having the NFTs. And that would be, I believe it would be more tied to your Epic Games account, tied to your game account. So having it and verifying that you have an NFT would be able to unlock things in the game and tied to your game account. Just because I think that's how the verification process would be for adding things to the game based off of an external wallet. Definitely still up in the air how that works on my side. Personally, I'm not a developer side of things, but I have seen that we had an iteration that worked on connecting a wallet. Let's see. Will there be a mini-map in the next playtest? I know a lot of people were suggesting mini-map. Actually, fun little fact. I don't know if anybody else was tracking the feedback as much as me. No, it's impossible. Nobody could have been tracking the feedback as much as I was, because I was literally tallying every time somebody said something. And I had over 23 mentions of adding the minimap, the highest suggested thing from the feedback from the last playtest. So I don't know if we'll have a minimap in the next playtest, but it's prevalent enough that I'm pushing our devs to add something like it. It just might not be soon. Once again, other priority features that are coming that I think are kind of exciting that you should be able to see during the November playtest.
It's definitely on the radar. That's for sure.
Will there be a mini map? He should have said that in the feedback channel. Greeny says, I think Headless did say it in the feedback channel. Man, I forgot it. Yeah. Oh man, nobody mentioned the mini map. No, everybody mentioned the mini map. And I think a lot of YGG members really wanted the ability to melee or tackle people, which I thought was interesting in itself. But no, we had a lot of feedback come in. I think when I added it up, as far as feedback went, we had like over 100 different tallies of things people were suggesting. And significantly less on the bug side, which was it was nice to see. Just thinking of ways of extra value for Guardian's Cats, hence why I asked. Plus, there's potential for airdrops to come months before with the value added. Yeah, it's on the radar. Okay, Greeny, I'm leaving. I'm quitting. I think a lot of the other questions were already answered in the chat. I'm just going to scroll up and check one more time, just in case. You signed a partnership with Razer. Is Razer now funding the project? So I don't think it's in direct funding that the support is. It's a collaboration with Razer. So we're trying to mutually benefit each other. As far as I know, non-monetarily. But it's once again not partnership, collaboration. Want to make clear that the wording there. And in our collaboration, we are in talks about how we can benefit each other mutually, outside of directly just handing each other cash, right? But that is definitely a higher level discussion. And if things change with it, then we'll definitely make announcements ahead of that. Crazy cat attack where the cat gets supercharged and goes wild on an enemy. I love it. Super Saiyan feline attack fireball. Oh, that was Nathan's suggestion.
Yeah.
He's gonna push for it internally.
Awesome. When like characters that kind of disguise themselves and try and pretend they're something else. It's like, oh, you should totally add this to like. I would love to have it. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I think that's just about our time. Thank you all for participating in the town hall this quarter. It's very much appreciated. We love seeing our community and talking to you all. Before we go, I do want to make a couple of reminders. One, please stick around for after. Our DAO Council is hosting a little bit of an after party. So you can join us in the general voice once we close down this channel. And we're going to hang out and we can talk a little bit about town hall things. Personally, I'll probably stick around for a little bit in the after party so that we can continue to discuss and just catch up. I like seeing you all and hearing your voices. So yes, join us in the general voice chat after this town hall to participate in that. I want to thank you all for coming and submitting questions. Remember, the best way to get your answers questioned in the best way possible is to submit them ahead of the town hall. So when we come up with the next town hall, please start thinking those questions even now so that we can start addressing our leads and addressing the proper people around our team that can help us answer that. And other than that, Inside Nikovia coming out at the end of the week, a lot of the stuff that we talked about and a lot more details about what's been in the works over the past few months and upcoming soon, hopefully, will be in this Inside Nikovia. So definitely check us out. It'll be on our website and on our Medium page. My eyes are shut, but my ears are good to go. Awesome. Yeah, I know it's late night for some people, so stick around for at least a little bit. Thank you again, Nathan and Purva. If you want to say bye to the community, please feel free to do so now.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate you having me here, and I hope that the party is is excellent. Have a good one.
Second Nathan on the party on having us here. Thank you, everyone. Have a good time, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome. See y'all. Bye.